Hi there, this is Gus Johnson, and I am testing out music writing software called Jotter, developed by a guy I know on a composer forum that I'm a part of. His screen name is Chopin, and his real name is Mike. Anyway, so I've already done a video for him where I talked about some issues that I was having just while I was tooling around with it. Haven't had a chance to really sit down and really go through it comprehensively, so thought I would give that a shot. So as you can see on opening, it does pretty well. Now I do have a MIDI keyboard plugged in, the Oxygen 61 keys, and it gave me an error message the first time I plugged it in. Let's see if I turn it off and back on again. Yeah, there you go. So if I choose I would probably have to go back and actually restart with it. So let's go ahead and give that a shot. Sibelius has the same issue, where if you don't start with the keyboard on or plugged in, it won't actually work. Anyway, so my initial thoughts on the program is it's got some really cool features. It has the ability to record let's say I know that I want this lick in measure 1, and then I know I want this lick in measure 4, but I don't know what I want in between. I don't have to necessarily give a go at everything in the middle. I can just do measure 1 and then measure 4. So you can see I was tooling around a little bit during my study hall observation. Let's go ahead and start with a new score. So the layout itself is decent. Pretty self-intuitive. It's got the ribbon layout that a lot of things are using nowadays, so that's cool. Starting a new score is pretty easy. I like that it goes through the circle of fourths or fifths, whichever way you like it. I can add more staves. I can add as many measures as I want. Let's make a 16 measure phrase. Let's make that our thing. I'm assuming this is millimeters. Could be pixels, don't really know. 65, it's a little vague. Dynamic score formatting, that means it will change as I go, which is quite helpful. Otherwise I could set how many measures per page and how many systems per page if I knew specifically I wanted what I wanted, but I don't. So let's call this testing, and today's date, which is 6/16/19. Sorry Chopin, I did not have time to do this sooner, but I'm doing it now. Okay, so let's hit OK. We got ourselves our brand new score. Uh-oh, where'd it go? Let's see if I hit the X button up there. There it is. All right, so I can apparently have multiple things open at once. That's kind of nifty. All right, so there's testing. As you can see, I've got my thing. Now, let's walk real quick through the tabs. File does what you would expect. It's got the new, save, open, the basics. Layout, I can zoom in, zoom out. It's also handy. I can do control and then scroll my mouse, which is pretty common for stuff. I can also, I think, no, I can't do control plus, control minus. Those are other shortcuts that might be helpful to add. Object select, so let's say I had, I don't know, bunch of notes. Object select allows me to select apparently just the track, just the channel itself, not the notes. So don't let it trick you. It is selecting, maybe a better name besides object would be channel select, because that's essentially what I'm selecting. I'm selecting which instrument channel to use. Cool, if I want to select this measure and say, I don't know, cool, I can stretch it. I just control X'd it. If I paste it, nothing happens. But if I copy it, okay, copying works. So I can do that. I can also pan score. It's a little bit irritating that I can't, I know shift scrolling with my mouse will often take me left and right in some of my other DAWs. Cool, I can change the letter size. I'm not into that. hashed view. That's funky. Let's not do that. Page view is what I'm currently in. I could also look at it as a booklet, so if I had multiple pages, that would just be side by side like a booklet. Nice. Mixer view. Hey, that's really helpful. Down at the bottom here, this is how you get into the recording area. You'll notice, I wish I could zoom in on it. This one is pan. These are just audio controls. I can turn the track gain up and down. I can change the pan up and down as well. Wish I could, oh, there we go. Okay, I can mute it. I can solo it. This would be helpful if I had multiple. But the bottom one, where it says piano, that's where I get to the virtual keyboard, which is where you can input things in record mode, which is a big thing with this music jotter thing. So I've got the demo. I'm not sure if it's the same in the full version, but it's good enough to test drive, I suppose. When I click on record mode, I'm in step edit mode, which means that I could put notes in manually or rests manually by clicking on the value and then placing them where I want, or I can input them like I talked about earlier. You hover over a measure and then you simply play them in. Now this is based on a global tempo, so I can tell the program that, hey, this piece is at 120 beats per minute. I'm pretty sure that that's what that little green flashing dot is. I think that's my tempo. You can see here it's 100 beats per minute. Let's change it to 200 and see if that dot changes pace. Nope, sure doesn't. So that just must mean that it's recording. Alright, let's reset it back to 100. It's got a latency allowance, which is nice. And it also has this option, if I'm really anal and say that I'm a perfect piano player, I could say record exactly what I play, which is pretty nice, but I'm not a great piano player. I direct band for a reason. Yeah, so that's the recording mode. I'm going to go show you a little bit about the recording mode. You saw that when I was click entering stuff, manual entering, it's pretty easy. I can also go back and edit. If I right click something, it deletes it. I wonder, maybe that's how I would do it. If I click the rest, it would be nice to be able to replace something with a rest instead of just deleting it. You see the way, like now I'm left with this funky rhythm that who knows how it will actually sound. Yep, sounds just like 16th notes, which is not what I hoped for. See, there's where the pan score thing comes into play. It'd be nice to be able to do that with my mouse so I don't have to click on a new selecting tool. But anyway, where was I? I was talking about replacing notes with certain things. So I'm going to show you the recording tool. If I'm in measure select and I try playing notes, let's see, I'll select play with my home row. You can see that it will put them in. When I first started out, I had to have one of the rhythms selected in order for it to catch that I was doing something. It would also be nice for me to be able to input, like, let's say I wanted to start on count 2. That's kind of funny. So you see there are some peculiarities. I had selected a note and it should have been inputting them in this space. There's probably something in the code about not being able to override existing things, which is probably also why I can't just slap a rest right there. But in all, the record mode looks pretty sweet. It would be nice if I didn't encounter the here, let me get out of the mixer view. It would be nice if I didn't encounter stuck keys quite so often with my MIDI keyboard. I'll show you. I've got my keyboard over here. So you see, it is velocity sensitive. It'll catch my velocity, but at the same time, it thinks I'm holding down all of those keys right now, and I can show you that I'm not. Alright, it kicked me out because my recording thing is free and yeah, you have to pay for more time. Anyhow, so I was showing you that once you get stuck notes, there's this nice easy button to get out of it. That's super great, but it would be nice not to have to worry about it at all. But hey, beggars can't be choosers, I guess. So in all, that's the first tab, the layout tab, as well as what you can do with the mixer view. History view shows you all the changes that you've made. So let's say I wanted to go back and change something, or I forgot what I did, I could view it there. Ruler mode just shows me, okay, so I'm in a quarter note selected duration right now. It'll show me everything based on a quarter note, which is kind of cool. So if I went down to 30-second notes, you can see that there's obviously many more of them. Ruler mode, I'm not sure exactly how this find max rests works. I feel like what it's probably doing is filling in, like you can see this is not a complete measure, neither is this, that's really obvious. It should fill in those remaining rests, but I'm not really sure. I can change all these things by just using the measure select tool and dragging, like some other DAWs will do that as well. It's a dragging format. I can reformat it to finish. I can add and delete things by right clicking or left clicking. Whoops. That's pretty nice. I wish there was a faster way to add or remove measures than going in through this way, like a shortcut. Control B is what I use in Sibelius, or B for bar, or maybe M for measure, but M would make sense for mixer view. But anyway, if you would add some more keyboard shortcuts to get at some of these things, that would be kind of nice. You've got the control button, you've got the alt button, you've got the shift button, and then you've got combinations of those. You've got the 1 through 0 of the number keypad. You've also got all the letters and all the symbols, so you could make this a pretty keyboard-friendly program, especially if you're gonna like this. Playing with the home row thing is super similar to a lot of laptop DAWs where I don't necessarily travel with a full MIDI keyboard, and so being able to use my keypad and not rely on my laptop's touch or on my little portable mouse would be kind of nice. Tomorrow I'll have a go at the edit ribbon, and we'll see how that goes, and we'll see if I can maybe fix some of these things. I was having an issue with notes playing out of order after I recorded them in, but I'm no longer having that issue, so I don't know if you just fixed the glitch or what the issue is, but it's pretty sweet. Okay, that's all for now. Toodles. Bye. Whoops, that's the wrong one.